was a chilly Sunday morning in Feb 2015. The sun shone mildly through the palm fronds into the small, cluttered house. Lalita was crying perpetually, sitting beside her old mother. Both of them belonged to a nearby village and worked as domestic helpers for 2 households in the city, including ours. She was complaining to her mother about her husband abusing her. Her mother said that girls are not supposed to cry over such small things, as her husband, being a man, did nothing wrong. This was the tale of Lalita, and perhaps the tale of lakhs of women in India. I was hearing this when Lalita narrated this tale to my mom. I was just 8 years old and was shocked to hear such things. I asked myself that why all people would not want equality. Why should only some people be treated badly just because they were born as women? This question was too difficult for my tiny brain to comprehend at that time, so I stopped thinking about it. My mom did monetarily help Lalita and advised her to move someplace else, but she was not able to do much as Lalita's family members were not supportive of this. Lalita's mother also thought that it was her lifelong duty to serve her husband without any complaints. This kind of a discriminatory mindset in people arises due to a variety of reasons. The first of them is that children are socialized from an early age to believe that men and women have different and proper gender roles in society. These children, when grow up, are most likely to continue these differences and the gender roles which exist. While it is taught that girls are physically weaker, boys are taught that they are not emotionally weaker. We should stop assigning these gender roles to different genders. Our friends and families often say that boys don't wear pink or boys don't play with dolls. But we should realize that these small comments start the large and vicious cycle of differences. This cycle continues to grow larger and larger as one tends to grow up. These specific rules or gender roles limit both the genders to only specific things which are acceptable by society. You should realize that having a girl's body does not teach one to do household work, or having a boy's body does not mean that the person is fearless, intelligent, and strong. These are the different things taught and learned by us in different stages of our lives within the families, schools, and communities. It is the circumstances and people around one who determine how one grows and what one becomes. The problem is that society tries to create women empowerment through a sheer force of a vicious custom or by imposing a new ruling of the parliament. But, as we all know, anything which is forced or obligatory will always remain secondary in the minds of a human being. We should understand that the only way of bringing women empowerment is by changing our mindsets. From an early age, the seeds of equality should be sown in every household. The perception that a male child is an asset and a female child is a liability has to vanish, because that indeed is the only reason of all these evils. Boys should be sensitized towards women at a young age, and especially in rural areas. Let me tell you quite an interesting story. There once was this man who came to a village to visit a small circus. He went on exploring and found this gigantic elephant tied with a rope fastened to the ground with a very thin, tiny peg. He was astonished, as the elephant could have run away easily, as a tiny peg could not have held back the mighty elephant. He asked this to the man standing near the elephant. He replied that when the elephant was young, he was tied to the ground with the very same thin, tiny peg. All these years he had tried to escape but was never successful, because his tiny body could not manage to pull out the peg from the ground. Despite his tremendous efforts, he was unsuccessful, and he accepted the fact that he could never overpower the peg. These years, the elephant has had the same perception in mind and has never tried again, because what is fed and experienced in one's early years of life, one grows up to be like that. The values we inherit and teachings we experience in our childhood craft our perception of the world. These basic values shape our mindset and limit us to see the things which lie beyond it. Similarly, empowerment is a mindset. Society can neither disempower nor empower a woman. It has to emanate from the core of one's heart. It is now time to seek inspiration and forge our paths. Imbibing sensitivity and concern in men for women at an early stage and changing our mindsets is the only way to stop violence against women. Change is the need of the hour, not in our policies or laws, but in our mindsets.